Jaguar Wright also raises concerns about what she describes as a long-avoided topic involving Jay-Z and very young artists, pointing to Rihanna as a prominent example. She claims that when Rihanna first entered the music world she was still a minor, yet was treated more like a commercial asset than a teenager needing structure and safeguarding. According to Wright, powerful figures within Jay-Z's circle were instrumental in positioning Rihanna in high-profile industry spaces, private gatherings, and environments she believes were inappropriate for someone her age. She presents this not as coincidence but as a deliberate pattern she says reflects how young talent was handled behind the scenes.
Wright explained how Rihanna was sold to Jay-Z at 16 years old. She explained how it was super sketchy that Rihanna got brought to America at only 16 years old without any parental supervision, and how she auditioned for Jay-Z at 3 o'clock in the morning. She explained how it didn't make sense that Rihanna's parents would let her fly by herself after just meeting Evan Roberts all the way to America to meet with Jay-Z in the middle of the night. And she alleged that Rihanna's dad got a $500,000 payout for letting this happen. She alleged since this was all out of the blue, Rihanna would have had to flown on a private plane to get from Barbados to America because she wouldn't have had a visa and her parents were not around with her to fly to America. And Rihanna even explained how Jay-Z would not let her leave until she signed the recording contract, and the label locked her in the office until 3 a.m.
You've gone through some big changes since you've been signed at Def Jam. Can you tell me what are the biggest changes you've gone through from St. Michael's, Barbados until now you being a superstar?
Well, one of them for sure is being away from my friends and family. After growing up around my mom and all my friends for 17 years and then moving to a big city with no one because all my family and friends are still in Barbados. So after moving to a big city with basically around strangers, that was the hardest thing for me to cope with at first.
Are you lonely sometimes?
I wasn't lonely, but I really do miss my family and my friends.
And a lot of people have speculated this for years about Rihanna because people found it super weird. Right before Jay-Z signed Rihanna, he was working heavily with a 16-year-old Tierra Marie who signed to Def Jam by L.A. Reid. And after a while, there was rumors circulating all over that Tierra Marie and Rihanna actually had a fallout because Rihanna's career skyrocketed and Tierra Marie got let go from Def Jam. And allegedly, Tierra Marie is the Jane Doe that is suing Diddy and L.A. Reid for SA when she was just 16 years old.
Jonathan Hay, who worked in public relations during that period, echoes parts of that story through his own experience. He recalls that many people around Rihanna assumed she was older than she truly was, and she was regularly brought into clubs and high-level industry environments where age verification was required. According to him, it wasn't until one evening when she was unable to show identification that people realized she was just 17. Jaguar Wright argues that by then the damage had already been done. She claims Rihanna's early team, those she believes were protective and grounded, were slowly pushed aside and replaced with new management, while individuals who raised concerns quietly began losing opportunities. Hay describes this as a common industry tactic, not an obvious ban, but a silent freeze where jobs dry up, doors close without explanation, and communication simply stop.
Why do you look so stressed? I'm unemployed. Why else? Dude, you gotta get in the tech space, bro. Dude, how am I gonna get work in tech? How do you do it?
Almost blacklisted.
Oh no, absolutely blacklisted. They didn't tell you you were blacklisted. It's just the jobs that you used to get easy. All of a sudden, there were other people. There was a new direction. There were restaurants you used to eat at that were always sold out. Your table wasn't available. It is the shunning.
Yeah, exactly.
Social shunning. And then when people that you know who you are, start talking about you behind your back in ways that they never did, and all of a sudden their career begins to elevate.
Yeah.
It's social engineering. And the sad thing about it is, every last rapper that you said fucked you over also happens to be a government informant.
Yeah.
Why would you think that you had a chance against these people when everything that they do, the government seems to ignore? It seems like they were untouchable because you didn't know that they had a deal.
Right.
They had permission to act like assholes and never have to be accountable for it, or so the government said, so they get to fuck over people like you and people like me and people like Aaliyah and people like Rihanna, people like Lauryn Hill, and people like Rakim, people like Nas. You know what I'm speaking.
Yeah. But even back in 2005, when we had spoke to the FBI, I didn't think of her like,
see if you were willing to testify against him so they would know whether or not they were going to have to move you.
Jaguar further alleges that Jay-Z shot videos overseas featuring very young models and that his influence discouraged scrutiny. She claims silence was maintained through strict contracts, confidentiality agreements, and financial leverage. More broadly, she argues that minors and emerging artists are often the most vulnerable within the music business, saying that once they enter binding deals, they're frequently treated more like commodities than individuals. In her perspective, Rihanna was one of those young talents who became caught in that system.
Was there at the beginning of her career, who took such great care to get her there. She shouldn't have been stripped from her team.
Right.
From her protection, no different than a rose. They went into the garden and they stripped the thorns and they pulled it out, and they've been ripping petals off piece by piece, year for year.
Correct.
Change that.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
For her.
Yeah.
And for every other child girl like her.
And you know, you're doing. Listen, you're doing the same thing that Dream Hampton did when she laid out the R. Kelly case for the prosecutors to finally, after 20 years, go and charge him.
You know, Dream is one of Jay-Z's girls too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the way that she
to do that right.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you wanted to take him out?
Her to do Surviving R. Kelly and Bringing Me To. Just like he loaned his lawyer Spiro to Tupac's family so that they can get to the bottom of his unalivement.
She argues that Jay-Z occupied spaces where he had the power to shield others, yet instead, according to her, people were sidelined, quieted, or swapped out to keep momentum and profits intact. In her telling, anyone seen as an obstacle was simply moved out of the way. She connects that mindset to what she says has fueled 50 Cent's recent push to expose Jay-Z, claiming it stems from experiences dating back to 50's early days in the business. That treatment, she suggests, planted frustration that slowly hardened into deep resentment. To understand it, she says, you have to rewind roughly 16 years to when 50 appeared on Tim Westwood's show talking openly about industry politics and tensions involving Jay-Z. During that interview, 50 called Jay-Z smooth, strategic, and always composed, but then added a remark that many listeners found strangely loaded and worth remembering.
Yeah, you got him in trouble. See, you got him in trouble because Jay-Z came here.
You think it was on this show? We should put it out there.
Yeah, you did, because he was saying nothing like that any other place. You know? Do you know him to be aggressive or to start? He said something about me first on your show, Tim.
It must have gone over my head at the time.
Yeah, all right, well, look. What happened is...
What happened?
You was talking to him about the Kanye West.
He was actually sitting where you're sitting right now.
Right. About the Kanye West thing. And I said at that point that Kanye wouldn't have came and took no trophy from me. And Jay goes, let's get it straight. Nobody's afraid of 50 Cent. Let's be
put
clear.
It out there.
Nobody's afraid of 50 Cent.
Put it out there random from nowhere.
Yeah, but really he should have been making it clear with you.
Which he didn't.
He didn't make it clear with you that he's not a punk. See, at that point, his safe presentation, He's not identifying with the transition and difference in the perception of Jay-Z. Now he's really safe. And people feel comfortable with him because they know he's not going to do anything inappropriate or try not to is inappropriate. Meanwhile, when he's saying he's not afraid of 50 Cent, why would you have to make that clear when no one's ever asked me if I'm afraid of Jay-Z?
It was random at the time.
Yeah.
Came from nowhere.
He probably didn't mean it.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want, and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems. Everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation, where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
How did you feel about it?
It was interesting. It just was something to address because it was public. If it was something that was being said behind the scenes, I would have probably said, well, anybody that would openly be afraid of somebody would be a complete punk. Well,
50 then pulled back to frame the wider landscape. Globally, he felt the competition was thin because his own albums were moving millions and giving him reach far beyond the US. Jay-Z, meanwhile, held a different type of stature at home, a distinct presence, calculated energy, and influence that separated him from the pack. He had crafted the image of the polished, intelligent, untouchable strategist, the industry's dependable figure that executives and insiders felt safe aligning with. But to 50, that carefully controlled exterior always masked something that never sat right. It wasn't just Jay-Z's power. It was the way he carried that authority while 50 was still clawing for position, watching from the outside as doors opened for one man and stayed locked for another.
Like his presentation is really safe. Even the glasses, what do glasses represent? Intelligence, right? A nerd, maybe? 4 eyes? What are some of the things that come along with you being a nerd? Like, don't hit a guy with 4 eyes. He doesn't want any trouble. It makes you more approachable, doesn't it? Alongside the past, the Beyoncé past. I'll be honest, I mean, Tim, you're aware of international. You are like flex here. I've always said that. I always felt like that, right? And there ain't never been no 50 Cent Jay-Z conversations questioning whether there was a competition between the two of them.
So Jay-Z recently said something crazy about he said nobody's scared of 50 Cent.
I think he would have done that if that was 50 Cent. No one's scared of 50 Cent. I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
I think it was kind of taken out of context a little bit, but what do you think about it?
I don't think it was taken out of context. No, I think the guy who was talking to him made him feel like a punk. You see what I'm saying? So he had to say, yo, nobody scared of 50. Let's get this clear. Nobody is scared of 50. You know, but I'm not the issue. Him making you feel like a punk is the issue. And at the end of the day, I look at it and people don't assess themselves. Even really intelligent people. Jay's a smart guy. You know what I'm saying? He'll analyze other people and other things that they're doing and not actually look at what's happening to him and his transition and difference. But right now, he's in a real safe space. He created this real safe aura. This is why people walking on the stage and why shit is happening like that. A lot of it wouldn't have been like that if he actually dealt with his issues himself. See, he's a piece of work, man. He always put somebody in front of him. When Jada came for him, he put Beanie in front of him. And Beanie went back and forth with Jadakiss. When Cam came for him, he put True Life in front of him. And they went back and forth. And he just didn't compete.
Him and Alicia are supposed to be doing a song again at the AMAs, but they're going to have like 20 security members on the stage making sure nobody bum rushes the stage.
This makes sense.
That's crazy. I think everyone was kind of like just going crazy that night anyway at the MTV Awards.
Yeah, but that's not... Nah, everyone wasn't.
Kanye.
They just felt, you gotta feel comfortable enough to do that. Like, see, don't get fucked up. I'll fuck up. You do some shit like that, and I'll fuck up. Let me go on record with that shit, because I ain't really with all that dumb shit. I think everybody already know that. And they know, like, they already know. Bitch, you wouldn't have walked up there no matter how hot your record is. She'd enjoyed that shit from the seat, like everybody else. Like, yo. Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't have walked up there, you know fucking better. Like, it's not that comfortable when I'm around. You know I'm coming with something that can make the response right away if they do something crazy. Right? How you gonna be doing what I'm doing and be comfortable?
I'm going to answer this carefully and responsibly, because what's being discussed here involves extremely serious allegations about real people, and none of it has been proven in court or confirmed by credible investigations. When claims like these start circulating, especially when they mix industry rivalry, personal grievances, and accusations of misconduct, what usually happens next isn't dramatic overnight fallout, it's one of a few realistic paths. Either verified evidence surfaces and formal legal or journalistic investigations begin, the individuals named push back through attorneys and public denials to protect their reputations, or the story stays in the rumor cycle without confirmation and slowly loses traction. High-profile figures operate in a space where accusations alone can cause noise, but consequences only follow when backed by hard proof. It's also important to remember that repeating or building on unverified claims can unintentionally spread misinformation or harm people unfairly. Right now, everything tied to these narratives remains speculation and personal testimony, not established fact. So the most likely next steps would involve media scrutiny, legal responses, or silence until something concrete is verified.
They don't want you to know about it.
Hey, did you know you might get a big cash payout